All right, so we're going to keep on with ecosystems, okay? And this word, as I move to the center of the room, biodiversity cannot be used without a full-blown explanation of what you mean by biodiversity. So if you're going to talk about loss of biodiversity, you have to link it to something and describe how that loss occurred. If it's the impact, same thing, okay? There's different approaches or different things that impact biodiversity. And I want you to put a little star in your notes. Star in your notes is me telling you to write something down. Without diversity in an ecosystem, populations struggle to survive. Without diversity, populations will struggle to survive. It almost makes survival non-existent. No lie. You need diversity, because if there's any change in your environment and you don't have diversity to overcome that change, your population can be wiped out like that. So diversity is important. Give me examples that describe diversity or impact diversity. They're all there, pictures ready for you to say. Anybody? Species, good. There's a lot of variety of species, right? Those are birds, there's a variety of birds. What else can there be variety of? I mean, I could take it. I could say ecological, which involves, I mean, plants are really species, but I'll just give you credit. A lot of plants can make up an ecosystem, right? What else? Genetic diversity, good. Which basically is the one reason why there is evolution or populations can survive change. And then when you see that picture, what's going on?
Pardon the interruption, but
On here. What is this? What is this little diagram? What's cycles? And what's this? Food chain is? What's the definition of a food chain? It doesn't cycle. Transfer of energy, the flow of energy. So cycling of matter and flow of energy is part of what we call functional diversity, which is necessary, right? And we know these things travel through living things, so it's part of population survival. Ecosystem by definition. Good job. A group of, we're going to say communities because we're going up to that last. Interacting with each other and their non-living components. And remember, whenever you're asked a question about ecology or ecological, you want to mention anything of cycling, flow of energy, and living things and their impact or something. So if we're going to do levels of organization, starting with ecosystem, go backwards. What's smaller than an ecosystem? So you can go backwards. Smaller than that, community, and then, good job. Habitats, what's that definition? I'm just kind of like defining words. Where an organism lives. Who knows what a niche is? You learn this in bio. Anybody? Were they what? Sure. That's an example of a niche. It's the role. So she said where they go to hibernate, that's an example of a niche because that's the role bears play at certain times of the year, right? So I want you to look at this picture. Remember, this was another problem. If I say, use the diagram to answer the following question, you have to use the diagram. So I say, use the diagram and explain to me a habitat. Somebody explain to me a habitat in this diagram. Yes?
The tree.
So the tree is a living thing. If you're going to explain to me the tree as a habitat, fix that sentence.
The birds
Make a sentence, people.
The birds make a nest in the tree.
The birds live in the tree. The tree becomes the habitat for birds. I accept that. Okay, you use the diagram, you see birds, you see a tree, you put them together. Who could give me a niche in this diagram? Yes. Worms act as decomposers and break down nutrients. Yes? What else? Give me another niche. Yes.
Could the tree acting as the habitat still be a word? Like, would that count?
No. So that's why I asked this question. A habitat is a habitat. Everything else about the tree can be a niche. Give me an example of how a tree is a niche. It releases oxygen for organisms to breathe. It uses the sun's energy to make food for organisms to eat or for itself. Even making food for itself is a niche. Yes? Okay. Put a star in your notes. Did I pause? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Put a star in your notes. No two species can occupy the same niche. Why do you think that is? Because then they'll compete. Now, can we have common niches? Yes. But if our everyday activity is exactly the same as another organism, eventually there's going to be an issue with survival. Okay? So no two organisms can occupy the same niche. So 2 more vocabs. Fundamental niche is your actual niche if in life, not your actual, take that back. Fundamental niche is a niche like in life you had no obstacles, there was no environmental resistance, everything is cake, and I can be a rocket scientist because I didn't have any struggles and I could go to school, no financial burden, yes? No worry about time. Realized niche, teacher, yes? So does fundamental niche exist? No, but if it didn't, you would have a thriving population of some sort. Okay, so here's a tree. A fundamental niche for this organism would be access to the whole tree, but of course this organism occupies this niche. Yes, or different times of the day.